I'm Maddie Sloane and welcome to Snap Happy, the photography show. We have a jam-packed show for you today with some great guests and heaps of practical tips. But first, Darran Leal concludes his Outback adventure in the Kimberley. Let's find out what he's up to.
So we've driven about 35 kilometres from camp and we're up in the northern section of Purnululu National Park in a place called Echidna Chasm.
Echidna Chasm just blew me away. You start walking in along a very stony creek and there's some beautiful palms outside, and we actually spent quite a lot of time taking photographs before we even got into the chasm itself.
I really love this place because it's a really narrow gorge and a place where we can challenge ourselves with a super wide angle lens and different lighting type.
It was a really special place, particularly the sunbursts in that nice little crack above us, which was really only about 3 or 4 metres wide in some places.
A key part of why you would come to Echidna Chasm is around 11 to 1 o'clock is timing for the best light. Unfortunately, that can also create an issue with how many people are in the chasm itself. So to get around that, I just suggest you be very patient and aim for key positions in the chasm itself. And there's a couple of positions behind me here that I have as my favourite places. I've taken my group there and we're set up, ready to take the photos. And as soon as we get a bit of a gap in the people, we take some great photos. The lighting is quite extreme. So I can do my photography in a couple of different ways in regards to setting. One is aperture priority, f11, and I can use my exposure compensation button to vary the lighting, or manual exposure would be great. So I can control the shutter speed, the aperture, and vary the exposure to get a great result. And I might consider HDR, taking 3, sometimes 5 images, usually 3 nowadays is enough. Something like -3 stops, correct exposure, +3 stops, blend them together in Lightroom or Photoshop and you get a better dynamic range of information in your final result. Give it a go, it's easier than you think. We're in the Kimberley and one of the great creatures we get to photograph are frogs. They come in all sizes, little tiny sedge frogs through to this beautiful green tree frog. I've got to say about 90% of frog photographs that you see in magazines and all that sort of thing are actually set up photographs. And the reason for that is it's just about impossible to find a frog in a really cool location without it being put there, so to speak. Wash your hands before you handle a frog. You don't want sunblock or oils or something like that to affect the frog. The other thing I like to have is a little bucket of water nearby so that I can just keep him nice and fresh. And also, most important, make the experience for the frog as short as possible. So what I'm doing here is using the torch to silhouette the frog against the leaf. I'm using aperture priority or shutter priority will work also. And I'm wanting about a 2/50th of a second shutter speed. ISO could be up a little bit, but with the torch it's going to be around 800 ISO. So I'm getting this beautiful silhouette of the frog. It's a very simple photograph. I've been shooting this way for over 20 years. I love the results you get. It's so creative and it's endless, but it's most important you don't stress these animals out. As you can see, he's quite comfortable sitting there now, knowing that I'm not a predator and going to hurt him. So I'm going to put him back exactly where I found him and he'll live on to have a great life. We're about to hop on board and cruise Lake Argyle, one of the classic experiences here in the Kimberley. Let's go and have some fun. We're finishing our Kimberley adventure on Lake Argyle. It's a beautiful place, huge amounts of water. We've already seen some freshwater crocodiles and we're aiming to get some other creatures and wildlife. An added feature for this trip, we get to have a swim as well, and the water's 27 degrees. How perfect is that? What a great ending to our Kimberley adventure and to the day itself. We've had a big full moon come up over the ranges and everyone got their big telephoto lenses out and got beautiful red cliffs with a full moon. It was really spectacular. I love the Kimberley. I highly recommend it to you. It's one of Australia's great adventure locations.
We find that photo tours are a great way to get to places that you may or may not get to on your own.
It's all about balance, and this is a balance of photography and tourism, I guess. The whole focus is in getting you in the right place for the right amount of time to get the best photograph.
The thing I find really interesting is that you've both been to the same place, but you take different interpretations and different angles. It's amazing.
I don't have to organise anything, I just turn up and I get taken to all these great spots at the right time of day, take the great photos, relax and enjoy the company of everyone who goes on the tour.
Head on over to the World Photo Adventures website to start planning your own trip of a lifetime. When it comes to family photography, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more passionate and awarded couple in Australia. Jeremy Burns and Katie Collenberg are the two photographers behind what they call Heartstory. We're in the nation's capital today, in Canberra, to learn more about their story. So guys, tell us about Heartstory.
So Heartstory is our portrait photography business based in Canberra. We photograph families, kids, couples, families with pets, babies.
Now, as you know, photography is only half the process. How do you package your images for your clients?
Well, that's actually probably just as important to us as taking the photos because you want people to be able to keep their images and have them be part of their everyday lives, not stuck on a hard drive or shoved in a drawer. So we sell a lot of large wall art, so framed prints, and lots of books and albums that can be kept forever and passed on down the family line, hopefully become heirlooms forever.
Yeah, photos are definitely there to be seen, right?
The beauty of a book is that you can tell the whole story of that family. So not just the photographs that we took during their session, but also we can add other things to it, like drawings that the kids might have done, maybe their handwriting, showing their names. So it becomes this amazing time capsule of that chapter of that family's life that they then can just keep forever.
Now, you print your photo books through Memento. Why is that?
They're just a great company. They're Australian. They offer some products that no other companies offer. They have amazing print quality and they're just a great company. We've been using them forever, ever since Heartstory started.
Besides offering the pro level range of products, they actually have a really good range of consumables that everybody can choose. There's a great range of really easy to make albums that they can make for you.
And the other thing is, because they're Australian and they're based here, you can just call them up if you've got any questions, and they're just an awesome company in terms of responding to your needs and helping you out.
Do you make photo books of your own family?
Of course, otherwise what would we do with all the photos that we take all the time of our children? We put them into annuals, special event albums, holiday albums. And actually last year I set about catching up and I made 15 separate family books and albums over the course of about 8 months. I'm not entirely caught up yet, but I'm a lot closer to being caught up. So
almost there.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of photographing our own children, do you have any tips for me?
Yes, I have a very strong tip. One of the things that you need to do is take off your parent hat and dive into their world, because one of the hardest things about photographing your own kids is the frustration that comes about of trying to get them to do the thing that you want them to do. It's very hard, especially if you're trying to parent them at the same time, because you want personality to come through the photo. So if you're bossing them around, that's never going to happen.
And also the smile that they give when you tell them to smile. So don't tell them to smile, try and get them to smile by making them laugh or engaging with them about something that they are into.
Fart jokes, they're really good.
Yeah, pretty much anything to do with poo or farts with kids under 6 is a winner.
What about I like poo-poo?
And then in terms of like technical things, I think a lot of what people struggle with is where to put their kids when they're taking the photos. So we recommend backlight, so don't have the lights wherever the light is, whether it's natural light or artificial light, don't have it shining directly in their faces, have it behind them. It just makes the light a bit more flattering. And the other thing is to get down onto a child's level. So often you'll see people taking photos from above and their kids sitting on the floor. If you get down on the child's level and you're actually looking at them on their eye level, that often creates a nicer angle as well.
If you're thinking about putting a book together and you're photographing your children, I think one of the key things to remember is sometimes the story of what's happening in a moment is really important to capture. So if you're aiming to create a book, a double-page spread, for example, and you want to have a key image as the large one, but there might be little intricacies in 4 other shots which will work really well to complement that shot. So I would say if you're photographing your children and you've got like a really beautiful moment happening and you think you've captured it, just keep shooting, see what happens.
The other thing that's really important to remember is that the perfect photo only tells a tiny fraction of the story, and so If you only print, a big perfect photo and you put it on your wall, then you're doing all of the other photos and moments a disservice. And that's why books are so great, because you can include everything and the whole story can be printed and remembered.
Photographing your own family is not only fun, but it's also a great way to record your family history at a moment in time. I'd love to challenge you to create a photo book for yourself. It may be of a family holiday, a birthday party, or just some fun snaps from around your own home. Check out Memento for some more inspiration. The Photographer of the Year competition presented by Nokia is the biggest amateur photo competition in Australasia. It's put on each year by the Australian Photography magazine. And today we meet a couple of the winners and chat to the editor of the magazine to find out more. So Mike, Photographer of the Year competition, it's huge. Tell us about that.
It's the largest competition for amateur photographers in the Southern Hemisphere. This year there's $30,000 in cash and prizes. Incredible. And it's a portfolio competition, so what we ask entrants to do is submit their 4 best images on a bunch of different themes.
Do you have any hints or tips for anyone looking to enter?
Well, no. I mean, it's difficult to enter a competition. Everyone will know that. I think the challenging thing for any entrant to do is to try and enter something that surprises the judges, an ordinary subject captured in an extraordinary way, or a interesting framing on a subject or a story, that kind of thing. Because it's a portfolio competition, we're asking photographers to really think about how their images work together. We're not after just one image, but we want 4 that tell a story and work as a cohesive set, which is a difficult thing to do. But that's really the key to a winning series, is looking at how all your images work together and the story that they tell.
Camouflage is the title of a series of portraits created by Victorian photographer Julie Thomas. She took out the People category and overall award as Photographer of the Year. Let's find out more about her story now.
Originally, I just came across this image online, and it was a picture of someone that had painted their model to look like an oil painting. And I just thought that was really cool, and I've done a bit of painting, and that's one of my hobbies as well. Lucky I have 2 girls and they're very willing models, and we took the photos and I was really happy with the outcome of them. Fast forward a few months and we're in lockdown at school holidays and we're looking for things to do inside the house, and I saw this fabric sitting there and thought, how cool would it be to paint my kids to match the fabric? So I kind of threw that idea out there and they were keen to give it a go. So yeah, we put the fabric up and I painted them to match it. I'd done 2 of them, and then I saw the competition, and it was a 4-entry competition. So we kind of, found some more fabrics and did a couple more and entered them into the competition, but we still had so much fabric left and more ideas. And so yeah, we've done a couple more since then, and we've still got more fabric to go. Yeah, we'll just keep on going until we get sick of it, I guess.
Cameron Meacham is a photographer based in Melbourne. He took out first place in the mobile category. We caught up with Cameron to find out about his amazing black and white series titled Shadows at Play.
My series Shadows at Play is basically all about shadows and lights. It has a large focus on last year's 2020 COVID lockdown. Myself and my daughter, we were at home and all that we were allowed to do was leave the house for an hour's exercise, and had a high focus on going to the park with my daughter Gracie. Basically, like everybody, I always have my mobile phone on me in my pocket. It's quick and easy. It's basically the camera that you have with you all the time. And as everyone knows, with toddlers, they move really quickly, are always on the go. The phone's a great tool to be able to capture those moments. My series, Shadows at Play, was shot on the mobile. It was shot in colour, but I basically decided to convert it to black and white when I was editing, because I feel that colour offers a lot of distractions. And by changing it to black and white allows the viewer to focus on basically what I want them to focus on, which was my daughter Gracie, her shadow, and in each photo there's a large focus on the shadows and also her feet in every photo. I did have a whole range of images to choose from, so it was a big culling process, I guess. But I find this difficult, but it's sort of a good challenge in a way.
As part of their prize, the winners received a Nokia camera phone. So we asked Cameron and Julie for their impressions.
I found it really great. It's got some good features in it. The RAW feature for pro photographers. That's really good as well. But probably my favourite is the wide angle lens. I don't actually have a wide angle lens in my kit, so to be able to get out there in nature and take some great wide angle shots just with a phone, yeah, I found that's really fantastic.
It also has a great manual feature for people out there that like to have more control over their images, I guess. You can change things like aperture, ISO, shutter speed. Another great feature of the Nokia that I really enjoy is the wide angle camera. I use it a lot for landscape photography, seascape photography. I've always had the Nokia on me in my pocket, and I use it a lot for sunrise and sunset in Queensland. It creates beautiful images. It's really quick and easy to use.
A great way to improve your photography is to set goals and stretch yourself with special projects. I want to encourage you to enter this year's Photographer of the Year competition. You can find out details at the link below.
Hi, I'm Saul from Camera Electronic.
And I'm Howard. 50 years ago, our dad started Camera Electronic here in Perth. Today, we've got 3 great stores and an amazing online presence as well.
And today, we're going to go to Lesmurdie Falls.
So the weather's been a little bit rough lately, bit of rain, but it's all right. We've got the Olympus OMD EM1 Mark III, EM1X, fantastic weather sealing. But if we're using ND filters, we might need some tripods as well. So we're going to take some Gitzo tripods, great lightweight travel tripods.
We can't wait to show you Lesmurdie Falls, not far from Perth, great photography.
So here we are at Lesmurdie Falls. We've got the head of the falls, beautiful Perth city. We're going to walk all the way down and around and see what we can find.
Walking all the way down, I just want to stay here and take photos.
Look, there's lots of places we can walk through here, lots of angles.
One of the great things about Olympus's flagship model, the EM1X, is the built-in ND filter system. You can choose from a range of stops, even the most popular ones like ND2, ND4, ND8, which is basically going to reduce your light by 1 stop, 2 stop, or 3 stops.
Today I'm using the Olympus OMD EM1 Mark III. Fantastic camera, only a single processor, so it doesn't have the dual processors for the built-in ND like the EM1X, the big brother, but I'm using this fantastic Nisi system here. The V6, neutral density. I'm trying the 3-stop at the moment, the ND8, but this one goes all the way up to 15 stops as well, so I can really slow it down and get some nice motion in that waterfall. We've both finished shooting the top of the waterfall. Let's head down to the bottom and see what else we can find.
There'll be some stunning images from a completely different angle, and we're going to get down there right now.
We're about halfway down now. I thought I'd stop, look back up towards the top of the falls and get a different perspective. I'm still using the 3-stop ND. I'm at 13 seconds exposure, 200 ISO, and F20 to maximise that depth of field and make sure it's in focus all the way through. And I'm pretty happy with the results so far. The reason I like this Gitzo tripod, the Traveller series is really compact, really lightweight, carbon fibre legs. This one's a 4-section tripod. What that means is it packs up nice and small, and even though it's light, it's still sturdy enough for me to take with me. So if you're going a long way through the bush, you've got your portable system with Olympus lightweight, Gitzo, perfect to walk around for long days. So we've walked down near the base of the waterfall now, trying to get some different perspectives. As you can see, all sorts of good low angles. How's that going, Saul?
Not good for my back, but I feel good. I'm getting great photos.
That vari-angle screen's great, hey?
It actually makes your life so much easier, Howard, that's for sure.
Vari-angle screen, don't need to lie down completely, and still be there, one knee. Great low spread on the tripod, and just a different angle, it's great to see. So here we are at the foot of the falls. I got here first, quickly climbed a rock so I could be taller than my brother for once.
Didn't happen, I'm still taller than him.
I'm gonna have a crack with this ND as well, since I don't have it built in the camera. And let's see what we can get.
Let's see what the Nisi's capable of.
So sometimes you can still get a bit of vibration if it's not too long an exposure when you touch the tripod. So what I've been doing here is using this self-timer button, putting the self-timer just on a couple of seconds. So when I press the button, I then take my hands away, no more shake, no more vibration, and get that nice long exposure, nice and crisp.
Composition-wise, I've actually got a bit of a wider angle lens. It's the 17mm f1.2, one of the Pro series from Olympus, so lots of weather seals. And I thought I'd try a couple of shots, got as close as I could without falling in the water, looking up at a really interesting angle at the waterfall, got mainly horizontal, tried a couple vertical, and yeah, I'm excited to see the results. Of course, with digital, we've seen it on the back screen already, but how did you go, Howard?
I had a bit more flexibility. I was using the 12 to 40 2.8, which is equivalent to a 24 to 80 2.8. So didn't have to zoom with my feet like you did, which is an advantage.
This close to the water, but it was a lot of fun.
But at the same time, you've got the 1.2. So I just had to play with some different apertures, shooting in manual and some different shutter speeds to see what results I could get.
Being an f1.2 lens, It only has a maximum of f16 in the aperture, so I couldn't get up to some of those numbers like 22, 32, which is great for landscape, but this gives a totally different perspective and pushes you out of your comfort zone. Really recommend you give it a try. A lot of fun down here at Lesmurdie Falls. Great photos, great opportunities, lots of angles, lots of exposure. What do you think, Hal?
Walking up and down a bit of a hill here, not really the right gear. Good quality lightweight tripods, good quality lightweight camera gear makes a big difference rather than lugging heavy stuff with us.
Plus, we were looking at those grey clouds and we knew rain could come at any moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Knowing all the Olympus gear is completely weatherproof, especially with the pro lenses, was a real relief.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Beautiful gear, beautiful day, pretty good company as well. So thanks very much from Camera Electronic, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
For more inspiration and expert advice, head on over to the Camera Electronic website. Thanks for joining us on Snap Happy. If you'd like to join our community, head on over to snaphappytv.com. There you'll find full episodes from the archives, exclusive content, and of course, special offers from our partners. See you next time on Snap Happy, the photography show.